In today's world where loud personalities and social clout often dominate, there's one type of man who stands apart: the Sigma male. You won't find him chasing attention or trying to climb any social ladder. He walks his own path, doesn't follow the crowd, and doesn't need validation from others. That's what makes him so intriguing. At first glance, Sigma males are admired for their quiet strength. People respect how they think for themselves, take care of their own needs, and don't get caught up in drama. There's something attractive about someone who seems so sure of who they are without needing to prove it to anyone else. They're confident but not flashy. They're focused but not rigid. They lead without asking for followers. But over time something shifts. The same qualities that drew people in begin to create distance. What once felt like mystery now feels like a wall. What seemed like independence now feels like disconnection. The admiration fades, and in some cases people leave. They stop trying to get close. They realize the Sigma isn't going to change for them, and they walk away. This is the story of the Sigma male, a man who is first admired and then left behind. Not because he's done anything wrong, but because he's built different. This video looks at the 6 key reasons why that happens. Why people are drawn to Sigma males in the beginning, and why later on those same people pull away. It's not about changing who you are. It's about understanding how your strongest traits can sometimes push others away without you meaning to. Let's look at the deeper truth behind this dynamic. The lone wolf isn't broken. He isn't better or worse than anyone else. But his way of living has real effects on the relationships around him. If you've ever felt like people admire you but never stick around, this may help explain why. Now let's go through the reasons one by one, starting with the powerful appeal of independence. Reason number 1. The allure of independence. One of the first things people notice about a Sigma male is his independence. He doesn't wait for permission. He doesn't ask for approval. He moves at his own pace and makes decisions based on what he believes is right, not on what others think he should do. This type of confidence is rare and it draws people in fast. Most people are used to following some kind of system. Whether it's at work, in school, or even in relationships, there are rules and expectations. The Sigma male ignores most of those. He sets his own goals, follows his own code, and doesn't rely on others to tell him what to do. That kind of freedom is attractive, especially in a world full of people trying to fit in. When people meet a Sigma male, they often feel inspired. They see someone living on his own terms and think, that's the kind of life I want. It feels refreshing, even powerful. A Sigma doesn't care if you approve of him or not. He's not cold, he just knows who he is. That makes people admire him even more. But as time passes, the shine can start to fade. What looked like strength can start to feel like distance. The people around him might start to feel like they're not needed, or worse, not wanted. The Sigma male doesn't ask for help. He doesn't open up easily. He doesn't share every detail of what he's going through. To him, that's normal. To others, it can feel like rejection. This is where admiration turns into frustration. Friends, co-workers, or romantic partners might feel like they're on the outside looking in. They want to connect more deeply, but the Sigma doesn't give them a clear path. He's used to doing everything himself, and that habit makes others feel like there's no space for them in his life. The independence that once looked powerful now feels like a wall they can't break through. It's not that the Sigma male is doing this on purpose. In fact, he may not notice it at all. He's just focused on his own path. But while he's walking forward, others may quietly step away, feeling like they were never part of the journey to begin with. People want to feel needed. They want to feel like they matter. When someone is so self-reliant that it seems like nothing affects them, it can leave others feeling invisible. The Sigma male's independence is a strength, but it can also be a barrier. And for some, that's enough reason to walk away. Reason number 2. The mystery factor. Another reason people are drawn to Sigma males is their mysterious nature. These men don't talk much about themselves. They don't post every moment of their lives online. They don't go around trying to explain who they are. That makes them interesting. We live in a time where most people share everything. It's normal to see someone's entire life on display. What they eat, where they go, who they're with. Sigma males are the opposite. They keep their lives private. They don't share unless they really trust someone. That silence creates a kind of mystery, and mystery pulls people in. When someone doesn't show all their cards, you naturally want to know more. You wonder what they're thinking. You imagine what their life is like. You fill in the blanks with your own ideas. That can make a Sigma male seem even more attractive. People get curious. They want to uncover what's behind the quiet confidence. In the beginning, this mystery feels exciting. It's like there's a hidden story waiting to be discovered. People might go out of their way to earn the Sigma's trust, thinking that if they get close enough, they'll be one of the few who really knows him. But this can backfire. Over time, if the Sigma male keeps his guard up and never opens up, people get tired. What was once intriguing starts to feel confusing. They don't know where they stand. They can't tell what the Sigma is feeling. They begin to wonder if he even cares. This is where things shift. The same mystery that pulled people in now becomes the reason they step back. Humans need connection. That connection comes from sharing, opening up, and being vulnerable. When that never happens, relationships start to feel one-sided. The Sigma male doesn't do this out of pride or arrogance. It's usually just how he operates. He's careful with his emotions. He protects his inner world. But if no one ever gets to see that world, they'll eventually stop trying. They'll leave, not because they don't care, but because they feel like they're chasing a ghost. What started as a strong, silent mystery ends up feeling like emotional emptiness. And that's when admiration turns into confusion and sometimes disappointment. Reason number 3, emotional detachment. When someone first meets a Sigma male, his emotional control stands out. He doesn't overreact. He doesn't break down in front of others. He seems calm, steady, and in control of himself. To many people, this is a rare and appealing trait. It feels safe. It feels stable. In a world full of emotional highs and lows, the Sigma stays grounded. But behind that steady exterior is something else: emotional distance. Sigma males don't open up easily. They keep their feelings close. Even when something is bothering them, they rarely show it. They might go quiet instead of speaking out. They might walk away instead of having an argument. To them, this seems like the better way to handle things. In the beginning, this makes them look strong. People often feel calm around them. It seems like they don't let anything get to them. That kind of control feels impressive, especially to someone who might be dealing with emotional ups and downs in their own life. But over time, emotional detachment becomes a problem. When someone is emotionally distant, others start to feel shut out. They don't know what the Sigma male is thinking or feeling. If there's a problem, he might not talk about it. If something is going well, he might not celebrate it. It starts to feel like nothing gets through to him, and that can be painful for the people around him. People want connection. They want to feel close to the person they care about. That closeness doesn't just come from being in the same room or spending time together. It comes from sharing emotions, both the good and the bad. When someone doesn't share, it creates space. That space becomes silence, and the silence can grow into frustration or even sadness. The Sigma male might think he's protecting himself or others by keeping things in, but to the people in his life it feels like a wall. They can't get past it, no matter how hard they try. Over time, they may stop trying altogether. It's not about being overly emotional. It's about being real. When people never get to see the real emotional side of someone, they start to feel like they don't really know them. That lack of emotional closeness pushes people away, even if they still admire the Sigma's other traits. In the end, emotional detachment can turn strength into loneliness. People walk away not because they want to, but because they feel like they're alone, even when the Sigma male is right next to them. Reason number 4, resistance to social norms. One of the strongest qualities of a Sigma male is his refusal to follow the crowd. He doesn't play social games. He doesn't climb the ladder just because he's supposed to. He doesn't live life based on rules made by someone else. This makes him different, and that difference gets noticed. In the beginning, people admire this. It takes guts to live outside the system. Most people feel pressure to fit in, to follow trends, and to say the right things. The Sigma doesn't bother with any of that. He makes his own path. He decides what matters. He lives by his own rules. This makes him stand out. Others may see him as brave, smart, or even a little rebellious. He doesn't waste time trying to impress people. He's focused on what actually matters to him. That kind of attitude can feel like a breath of fresh air. It's rare to find someone who isn't trying to fit into some box. But going against the grain has its price. When someone refuses to follow social norms, they can also be seen as difficult or unpredictable. Not everyone understands why the Sigma male acts the way he does. Some people might see it as arrogance. Others might feel uncomfortable because they don't know what to expect from him. Over time, this resistance can lead to isolation. The Sigma male doesn't always join group activities. He may avoid office politics. He skips the usual small talk. He doesn't follow traditions just for the sake of it. And while that works for him, others may feel rejected or even judged. People tend to stick with what they know. When someone steps too far outside the norm, it creates distance. That distance isn't always intentional. It just happens when people feel like they can't relate. They may admire the Sigma male's mindset, but still feel like he doesn't belong in their world. This is where admiration starts to fade. Being different is powerful, but it also makes connection harder. If people feel like the Sigma male is always one step apart from the group, they may eventually stop trying to include him. Not because they don't like him, but because they don't know how to reach him. The Sigma male often feels fine with this. He doesn't need a crowd. But over time, he might start to notice that fewer people are around. Fewer invites, fewer messages, fewer connections. All because his refusal to follow the usual path made others feel like they weren't on the same road. Reason number 5. Prioritization of personal goals. Sigma males are focused. When they set a goal, they go after it with full force. They don't wait around. They don't waste time. They're disciplined and driven. And this drive is often one of the most admired parts of their personality. They know what they want, and they work hard to get it. They're not distracted by trends or drama. They're not trying to impress others. Their time and energy go toward building their skills, reaching their goals, and improving themselves. This kind of focus is rare, and people notice. At first, it's inspiring. Others want to be around someone who's going somewhere. It can feel exciting to see someone so committed, so serious, so determined. The Sigma male becomes a kind of role model for self-mastery and purpose. But focus can also turn into tunnel vision. When a Sigma male is deep into his goals, everything else fades away. Relationships, friends, hobbies, they all take a back seat. This can leave the people in his life feeling ignored or left behind. He's not doing it on purpose. He just has a strong need to accomplish what he sets out to do. But when someone always puts their goals above their relationships, it sends a message: you're not as important. Even if that's not what he means, it's how others feel. Over time, this causes tension. Friends may feel like they're just background noise. A partner may feel like a second choice. Family might stop calling because they know he's always busy. The Sigma male may not notice until it's too late, until people are already gone. It's a tough balance. The same drive that makes him successful is the same drive that creates distance. People admire his focus, but they also want to feel like they matter. And when they don't, they slowly drift away. The Sigma male may look around one day and realize he's hit every goal, but there's no one there to celebrate with. That's the trade-off. His priorities made him who he is, but they also pushed people out of the picture. There's nothing wrong with ambition. But when personal goals always come first, relationships suffer. People walk away not because they dislike the Sigma, but because they feel like they'll never be as important as whatever he's chasing. Reason number 6. The reality of solitude. Sigma. Males are known for enjoying solitude. They don't need a crowd to feel complete. They often feel most at peace when they're alone, reading, thinking, working on their goals, or just reflecting. This comfort with being alone is one of their most defining traits, And it's also one of the first things people respect about them. At first, this solitude seems like strength. In a world where many fear loneliness, the Sigma male embraces it. He doesn't need constant social interaction. He doesn't need approval from others to feel okay. This self-sufficiency feels powerful and rare. People admire that kind of emotional independence. It shows maturity, discipline, and confidence. The Sigma male doesn't chase company just to fill silence. He doesn't get lost in crowds. He stays grounded in his own space, and that can look impressive, almost heroic. But the same solitude that looks strong at first can later feel like distance. People want connection. They want attention, presence, and shared experiences. When someone always chooses to be alone, it can feel like rejection. The people in the Sigma's life might feel pushed aside, not because of something they did, but because of who he is. This solitude doesn't mean the Sigma male doesn't care. It just means he's wired differently. He recharges alone. He thinks better alone. He finds clarity in silence. But the problem comes when others don't understand that. They interpret his alone time as coldness. They think he's avoiding them. They start to feel like they're not welcome in his world. Over time, this creates emotional space. Friends stop reaching out. Romantic partners feel unwanted. Family members might stop checking in. The Sigma male may not notice right away because he's used to being alone. But slowly, the silence around him starts to grow, not because he chose it, but because others gave up trying to connect. This is one of the biggest reasons people leave. They feel like they're trying to connect with someone who prefers to be alone. That's a hard truth. Even if the Sigma male likes them, respects them, or even loves them, his need for solitude can make them feel like they don't matter. It's not about changing who you are. It's about being aware of how solitude affects others. People can understand the need for space if they know it's not personal. But if they're never told, they'll assume the worst. They'll assume they're not wanted, not needed, not loved. What began as admiration for someone who could stand alone becomes disappointment when that same person never lets anyone truly stand beside him. The Sigma male lives by his own code. He doesn't follow the crowd, and he doesn't need applause. His quiet strength, deep thinking, and self-reliance are what make him stand out in today's loud, chaotic world. These traits earn admiration, respect, and even love. But over time, those same traits can create walls instead of bridges. Independence becomes isolation. Mystery turns into confusion. Focus on goals makes others feel like they don't matter. Resistance to norms creates misunderstanding. Emotional control starts to feel like detachment. And a love of solitude begins to look like avoidance. This doesn't mean Sigma males are flawed. It just means that their way of life carries a price. People admire them because they are different. But sometimes people also leave them for the very same reason. It's not about being liked or disliked. It's about connection. And when connection feels one-sided or too hard to reach, even the strongest admiration fades away. The Sigma male isn't broken. He doesn't need to change who he is. But he can choose to be more aware. He can learn when to open up just enough for others to feel included. He can make space, not only for himself, but for the people who care about him. That doesn't mean giving up his nature. It just means letting others in now and then, because even the lone wolf needs a pack sometimes.